Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you, where, of course, every week we are going to be sharing actionable, bite-sized tips and strategies that you can deploy into your business right away to help you grow your business in a sustainable fashion. And today we are going to be talking about how to grow your database. Now, we already did a video where we talked about the importance of database and brand. But what we want to do now is talk to you about how you can strategically build your database and some of the things that we use to communicate to our database in our team and our organization that helps us to stay in touch with them and to be top of mind all the time. Well, if you've been watching this channel at all, you know that I'm a big believer in our database and in a referral-based business. You see, that's the one relationship that hopefully Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, CoStar, you name it, hopefully they can't get in the middle of that relationship. And that's a personal relationship between you and another human being. And that's why this is such a relational business, because not only do people rely on you for your expertise, but they also rely on you for your trust and your judgment, and they like to work with people that they know, like, and trust. So how do you go about building your database? Well, first and foremost, you're gonna do this. You're gonna open up your phone, okay? Your database is already in there, and you're gonna have to segment out your database. So what does that mean? Well, what I do when I have a new agent segment their database is I have them download their entire phone. Now, what they do is they'll download their phone in a CSV file. I'm not going to cover all the tools that we use because you can find them quite easily all over the place, but there are free tools that you can use to download your entire database from an iPhone or an Android in a CSV file. It's important that it's a CSV file because that's what most CRMs use to be able to upload that file back in. And then once you download that file, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to begin to segment your database. So what does that look like? Well, think about it this way. You have past clients. Well, if you're brand new, maybe you don't have any past clients, but that would be one group. You also are going to have a sphere of influence, but your sphere of influence, while it might be almost everybody in your phone, you're going to want to break it down. And you're going to break it down further based on specific criteria. So here's how I break it down. First is your close sphere. Well, what does that mean? Well, your close sphere are the people that you would pick up the phone and you would call them and you would have a conversation and you would just shoot the breeze and it would be totally normal. It would be like nothing at all for it to be 6 months without a phone call, and then you give them a call and you guys pick up right where you left off. That's your close sphere. Those are also probably going to be your raving fans, just FYI. Make a mental note of that. Now, the second group is going to be your outer sphere. Now, your outer sphere are those people that if you saw them walking into a movie, to a restaurant, at the car wash, you would say, "Hey, how are you? Great to see you." And you would probably catch up a little bit. But to pick up the phone and call them might be unusual. However, shooting them a text message about something might not be abnormal at all. And then you're going to have a third group of your sphere, and that typically is your work sphere. Those are people that ended up in your phone because you needed to communicate with them for work for one reason or another, but you never had personal conversations on the phone. You never or rarely texted each other about personal non-work related items. And so those are going to be your work sphere. So you're going to break your database down into that category, into those 4 different categories, and you're going to label them all. You're going to tag them. And the reason you're going to tag them is so that you can upload them and segment them into your CRM. I'm going to do a video about CRM and how that works later. But what we're doing right now is we're just talking about your database, segmenting it, and how to grow it. So now that you've segmented it, now this is going to help you down the road, and I'll do another video where I talk about how we systematically communicate with our database based on those tags. But now we're going to talk about how do you grow your database? Well, what's in your phone is already in your phone. What you're going to do to grow your database, though, is that you're going to be purposeful. And the way that you're going to be purposeful is that you're going to make sure that you begin to add people into your database and that you collect pertinent data about them that you will need to add into your CRM so that you can better communicate with them. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you can do it in a multitude of ways. One great way that you can do it, especially now that you're a real estate agent, is that you can do it through open houses. Every single person that you meet is now somebody that you can add into your database because they're a met person, and it's not going to be unusual for you to pick up the phone and call them because they've already met you. It's not going to be unusual for you to email them or for you to text them, again, because they've already met you. Another way that you can do it is you can be more purposeful when you're out and about about in your world. Whatever's going on. You could be a single person with no family and no significant other. You could be a family with a spouse and children of all different ages and stages. But ultimately, you're going to have different things that you do in your life that surround around either your hobbies or the important people in your life. So let's just say, I'll use me as an example. If you go to the PTA meetings, if you go to the sporting events, if you take your children to dance, those are all opportunities where you can meet people and get to know them, and you can begin to add them into your database. Now, you might not get their phone number up front, but if you get their name, you can add them into your phone book, and then you can begin to communicate with them via social media. And that's how you kind of get the ball rolling. But if you're on panels, if you're on different groups where you would actually exchange contact information, now you can add them into your database as a full contact. So you always want to be looking for areas and places where you can gather people's name, full name, an email address, and a telephone number, and then you can ultimately add them into your social media flow so that you can begin to grow your database. Because the larger your database is, the more opportunities you have for referrals as a result of your database in your real estate business. That is how you go about building your database. You have to do it strategically, and you have to do it with purpose, and you have to do it daily, and you have to do it consistently. Also, you need to build out your existing database. You need to make sure that you have addresses. You need to make sure that you have phone numbers, that you have emails, that you have their social media profiles, that you know their children's name, that you know their wedding anniversaries if they have one, their home anniversaries if they have one, even if they weren't your client. You need to find out as much information as you can so that you can employ the strategies that we will dive into deeper in our next video, where we talk about how to systematically and strategically communicate with your database. So this video, we covered how you grow your database, how do you keep adding people to your database, and how you segment your database so that you can later communicate to them appropriately. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to jump on a Zoom with me, please feel free to click the link in this video and schedule a time on my calendar. Can't wait to meet you in person or over Zoom, and thanks for tuning into the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and to click that bell so that you can be notified when I drop more videos. Have an awesome week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. It is tomorrow.